What's up guys, Tommy Bowyer here from Movie Rewind, and today I am joined by my friend Matthew.
Hello, my name's Matthew. You've probably seen me on here before. I don't know, I'm probably Tommy's slave or something.
Well, you've probably seen him in a couple of sketches. However, this is our first discussion video. Hopefully there's going to be some more of these in the future. If this one is actually any good, we have no idea if it's going to be any good yet. And today we are asking the question, can the DCEU be saved? Now that's quite a complex question, and you know, we're probably going to get quite a few DC fanboys on here probably disliking this video. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, I think probably the first major question is, why have the majority of DCEU films been critically panned? Because they haven't really had any of the success which the Marvel films had. I mean, let's
No.
be honest here. Their first movie, Man of Steel. I mean, you know, that was
Man of Steel,
yeah.
as I thought, as a standalone film, was alright.
Yeah, it weren't, but it weren't like Iron Man. It didn't have hardly any of that success.
No.
Not that it was. I actually thought Zack Snyder did quite a good fresh take on the Superman.
I thought it was quite good. As a standalone movie, because throughout the film you didn't get a hint saying, oh, they're building the next Avengers or anything like that. So a standalone film, Man of Steel was a good start to reintroduce Superman himself.
Yeah, I think because, you know, Superman, you know, has had a lot of failed attempts at movies, and I think you're right about that. It had no hints of building a universe. It was just, they were trying to make just a different and unique movie, which is good. If you're starting off a cinematic universe, you should start it off in that way. Now, we get to their next attempt.
When superheroes fighting superheroes was popular.
Yep. When
2016.
When of course Captain America Civil War came out and blew audiences away with superheroes versus superheroes, we also got Batman versus Superman Dawn of Justice. Now, this is when Zack Snyder or the producers decided that it would probably be a brilliant idea to build this universe as quick as possible, because they saw that Marvel make loads of money and they wanted some of that money.
Yeah, the Batman vs Superman. I think there's a lot of problems with this film. We've already discovered the fact they tried to do too much. Then what we get on later is the typical DC ending, which has plagued DC films throughout. So what we got here, we got Batman. He sees Superman destroying buildings. He thinks Superman's a threat. So let's go and we'll make a movie around Batman thinking Superman could be evil, so he's got to eliminate him. Then Lex Luthor is meant to be a villain somewhere, so he creates a giant. Then when the plot of the film's resolved, Batman vs Superman, they'll say, "Oh shit, we got another half an hour to fill. What should we do? It's Doomsday. Why not?"
Now, I don't know if you agree with me on this. I think when I remember seeing trailers for this movie gave the trailers showed you far too much. I mean, in the second trailer, at the end of it, they had Doomsday in it. Now, I'm not saying Doomsday shouldn't have been in this movie. I think it was far too early to do the Death of Superman storyline. You didn't really feel a connection for Superman. Like, fair enough, Man of Steel was released, but you shouldn't have done Doomsday in his second appearance, because there's no emotional connection there. Lex Luthor, I don't actually mind. I like what Jesse Eisenberg does with Lex Luthor in this. I think it's something different. Is it probably too much of a Joker?
I don't know. He's playing more the Riddler, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I can see what Zack Snyder was trying to do, but so much of this movie is exposition. I mean, can we talk about Wonder Woman's hard drive of universe building, where she just looks at all of these little video clips with like all the different members of the Justice League.
Oh, and they even had their symbols as well.
Yeah. I mean, it made no sense. It's like, wait a minute, I thought this was Batman versus Superman, but now we're seeing it's like this movie is just a mess. It's like it should have just been about Batman and Superman. And I remember sitting in the cinema and someone said, when that fight was over between them, I remember some guy sitting next to me said, "Is that it?"
Is that it?
Oh, so this was a letdown, but I don't mind Batman versus Superman. I think it has potential, and Zack Snyder's a good director. I think the direction in this is not that bad. I think Zack Snyder knew what he was doing, but it's just a bit of a mess.
And the problem as well is Zack Snyder's thought they could make comic book heroes dark and gloomy, which for the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight series it could work because it was a completely different interpretation of the character, whereas this is meant to be based, well, fully comic book, all that stuff. He tried to make it dark and miserable. Superman's meant to be a light, enjoyable and a light-hearted character. He's not meant to be this soul-crushing, depressed, emo kid.
I think that's the Dark Knight trilogy affects the DCEU so much because they think that they have to be dark and gritty, because they think this came out at a stage when, like, Man of Steel came out at a stage when every movie thought they had to be dark and gritty. I mean, we had The Amazing Spider-Man, we had all of these films which thought they had to be really dark and gritty because, you know, it worked for the Dark Knight, so it'll work there. But it doesn't work for every superhero. It works for Batman because Batman is notorious for being a dark and gritty character. It doesn't work for someone like Superman. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work for that.
And we're not even going to talk about the Safe Martha scene.
Oh god,
that
was just, you can try and defend that scene, but no, it doesn't work.
What happens? What would have happened to Superman if his mum was called Julie?
He'd probably be dead.
Save Julie! Who the fuck's Julie?
Now, let's probably talk about one of the worst DCEU films until Justice League was released, and that is Suicide Squad. Oh boy. Now, this film, if you thought Batman vs Superman was just didn't understand what it was going for, you know, Suicide Squad is just a complete mess. It has, I don't know about you, I feel it has no idea what it wants to be.
No.
It's trying to be, when the first trailer for this was released, it seemed to be dark and gritty.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, because I remember watching it thinking, you know what, Suicide Squad, a film about villains, could be dark and gritty. That could work. But then they turned it into such, I don't know, just a colourful, it just didn't seem to fit. I don't know why, it was just a mess.
Well, mess. In the first trailer, before they saw the action, they looked at Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay, people preferred this movie. What can we do to make people win it? Come see this. Well, we're going to make the title cards colourful, and we're also going to put Bohemian Rhapsody in it. Another famous classic song to get people going.
Now, I don't know if you can blame director David Ayer, because if you hear about this movie, the production was quite all over the place. They had like a lot of reshoots. They reshoot so many scenes in this movie, and it kind of shows, because you can really tell at some parts, especially the start of it, it's quite gritty, but it looks like someone's come in with a lot of colourful neon lighting, has just kind of painted all over it. It's like, oh shit, that's dark, we better colour all over it. And DC, the villain in this is awful. And as Matthew pointed out, DC do exactly what they did in Batman vs Superman with another CGI action scene at the end of the movie, which you're not invested in whatsoever. I mean, it's another beam in the sky, because, you know, we've not seen any beams in the sky in any other movie before. I mean, come on, we came out of Suicide Squad kind of in denial a bit. We were like,
I enjoyed it a bit. I'm going to admit, I enjoyed it. But then problem with DC, how did the film end? Another big CG fest, explosion fest, and the city's going to get destroyed.
I mean, I think the only thing that kind of saw me through Suicide Squad is the casting's good.
Yeah.
You know, Will Smith, Margot Robbie, they're all really good actors and they fit into those roles. And to be honest, Jared Leto, I think he could be a good Joker.
Yeah, he got a good performance.
I don't think he got, I mean, if you hear, it's like, I think he said like 50% of his scenes were cut from this movie.
Yeah. So
that just shows how this production was just in chaos, because Warner Bros. Decided, shit, people like Guardians of the Galaxy, let's make that. Right, so the next film was one which took everyone by surprise and made people a bit optimistic, and that was Wonder Woman.
Yeah, Wonder Woman.
Now, Wonder Woman has one thing which is going for it. It is set before any of the DCEU events.
So therefore they can make what they want without the clusterfuck behind them.
Yeah, and I think because Justice League was in production by this stage, Warner Bros. Were more interested in Justice League than they were Wonder Woman, so they just let them get on with it. And that's a common sight. When Warner Bros. Let a movie just let the team get on with it, it's actually a lot better, because when Warner Bros. Interfere in it, it becomes just like a clusterfuck all over the place. So Wonder Woman is a good war movie. It's a fun adventure movie. The only issue I have with it, and I think you told me this as well, is the ending.
Yes! And welcome back to DC! How are we going to end this film? We're going to have a massive battle with a massive explosions and a massive CG fest again. That's what ruined it.
You see, when I first...
It was a good movie, but then typical DC, I want big explosion. You're not trying to be Michael Bay.
See, when I first saw this movie, and she kills that general, and the guy says, and she says, oh, there should be war. Where's war? There should be war. And he says, I can't remember what the god's name is, but he says, there is no god. This is just what mankind's like. Wouldn't that have been better if it was not like some massive villain interfering? It was just, that's what mankind was, and that's why she becomes shut off from. Yeah. But no, they had to have the massive CGI god go, I was in control of everything. I
caused World War One.
It's just, oh god. And then we move on to
my favourite film of 2017.
Oh, if you've been viewing my channel for a while, you know how I reacted to this movie, and that is Justice League.
Hey!
Now, we knew what we were in for when we went to see this film.
I put my expectations low, but not low enough.
This was just, I don't know, it was like a low-budget fan-made Avengers film. It's just they were trying to... It's all over the place.
And do you know what I don't get? The film had a budget of $300 million.
Oh, God. Well, actually, most of that was probably...
on the cast.
Most of that was probably on CGI.
Henry Cavill's mustache. Sorry, what can we do? We could spend the extra budget on Steppenwolf to make him look like he's from the PlayStation 2. Or we could patch Superman's mustache.
And let's talk about Steppenwolf. Now, when the Avengers, if you look at that, their villain was Loki. Now, Loki was already a developed character, he was in form.
Yeah.
And Tom Hiddleston did a standout performance as Loki. Now, Steppenwolf, the voice actor doesn't even get a top billing. He's not even on the DVD cover as a listed cast member. He's so underdeveloped. All he wants to do is conquer the world, which every DC villain has wanted to conquer the world.
Mm.
You know, there's no variety of villains, you know, and Steppenwolf is just, oh my God.
Awful.
It's just all CGI, and that's the problem with this movie. It looks all orange. Have you noticed? If you actually look at all the action scenes, it's all orange, and because it's so reliant on CGI, you just lose it. As I've said before, CGI can invest you in a movie. However, it can also bring you out of the movie because you know that it's CGI you're looking at.
I know, but to put it into perspective, Megatron from Transformers The Last Night was a better villain than Steppenwolf.
And that's saying something.
That's saying something.
That really is saying something. At least they got a good voice actor. This voice actor he said all the stereotypical villain things like, I will have my revenge.
Mother. Who the fuck's Mother? Who the fuck is Mother?
This guy loved his mother, obviously.
He liked his mother, but we don't know who fucking Mother is. Unless he was actually Darkseid and he had a homosexual relationship with Darkseid and that was their thing. I don't know.
That'd be a more interesting movie than
it would, yeah.
And I'm going to talk about, because I don't think Matthew's seen this, and that is Aquaman. Now Aquaman is okay. If anything, it's on the same.
Seen Aquaman.
You've seen it? Oh, he's seen it.
I've seen Aquaman.
It's on the same. I'd say it's kind of just below Wonder Woman, but once again, it just shows if you just let a director and a team just get on with it, then sometimes you can have, because this movie I'd say is on the same level as like the first Captain America film, the first Thor film. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's better than all the other DC films, the majority of DCEU films we've had.
I'm gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Aquaman made me piss myself laughing in the cinema. Because I know they're being comic book accurate with the design of Black Manta. Not good. They props for that. They're sticking to comic book accurate designs. But in terms of this real live action universe, it just doesn't work. We see Black Manta come out with his big red bug eyes, and he goes, "I told you were able."
Oh god. Now, I do know. I think we disagree on it. I didn't mind Black Manta. If anything, I thought he was a better villain than Ocean Master, who was in that film.
It was too forced. They were trying to like sort of pretend like he's like the Eric Killmonger of like the DCEU. Yes, this guy came on the boat and he slaughtered a bunch of innocent crewmen, and we're supposed to feel sorry for this guy because he lost his father. His father was a fucking dick. Why should I feel sorry for him? He's a fucking dick. I've got no sympathy for him. I can't see where he's coming from. He's a cold heartless killer who kills for money.
You see, I can see where you're coming from there. I didn't mind Black Manta because I weren't taking him seriously.
No.
I just saw him as the action scene he was in with Aquaman. I thought was good. I thought there was a strong action scene, and I don't know. Black Manta just had kind of a presence where, yeah, he's just a villain. So you know, who cares?
He was more of a filler than a villain.
Yeah, it's better than Ocean Master. I mean, if this movie was about, because it did kind of touch upon all the pollution in the waters of mankind and that.
Yes.
I think if they'd focused on that could have been a really, thought-provoking movie. Yeah. But they missed that opportunity. I just think they missed that opportunity, to be honest.
But what I don't get about these films, I don't get me wrong, I enjoyed Aquaman, but when Atlantis and all the ocean people like do a massive storm and wash all the ships up, causing great damage to all the cities around the world, where's the fucking Justice League?
And that's what I said about this movie. I know this movie has a couple of references to Justice League, but it completely ignores the ending of that film.
What I hated goes, the Aquaman after you defeated Steppenwolf. No, he fucking didn't.
No, Aquaman.
They have to get Superman at the end to fix that one.
Aquaman didn't really have any character development in Justice League.
No.
I mean, he does have a bit of character development in this film. I mean, as I said, Jason Momoa is not a bad actor.
I thought he played it quite well. He was a new and quite really good take on the character. He made Aquaman cool.
Yeah, which is something that, no one has really done before. So, now we've talked about that, we're going to say, what could the DCEU have done differently? Now, there's quite a lot of things, but I think we're going to discuss three in particular. Now, I think the first one is rushing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god. I mean, I understand Marvel, when the DCEU started in 2013, Marvel was just beginning Phase 2, and by the time Batman vs Superman out, Phase 3 started, and let's be honest, Phase 3 of the MCU has had mostly hits. They've made a lot of money, there's been a lot of positive reactions.
Phase 3 was all hits.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
They're all financial success.
So, the DC, I get it, DC was scared, Warner Bros, wanted this success. But what they didn't understand is Marvel worked so long on making sure that each movie was handcrafted, making sure it weren't rushed. The only movie I'd say they could have rushed is probably Iron Man 2. I think if you look at that, there's quite a bit of universe building in that film. But apart from that, they let them all just get on with it. And that's the problem. Batman vs Superman was rushed. Suicide Squad was rushed. As we said, Wonder Woman and Aquaman weren't really rushed. Justice League definitely was rushed. I mean, so all of these films is just rushed. And the problem is when you rush films, you can't make something better. Directors can't say, "Oh, that doesn't look good," because they're being rushed. They have to just release it as it is. Yeah. So then you get the terrible CGI in Justice League because they didn't have time to improve any of it.
No.
And you get the bad villains in, Suicide Squad because they didn't have time to develop the characters. So I think rushing is a major issue here. Another one is, of course, the man of the hour, Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder.
Now, Zack Snyder is not a bad director. We're not saying he's a bad director. He has directed some good films.
I don't get why he can't make something a bit better. He directed Watchmen.
Yeah. Zack Snyder is a dark and gritty director. He likes going dark and gritty. So maybe...
Not too much.
Yeah, maybe he weren't the best opportunity. I understand Man of Steel, Yeah, I didn't mind Zack Snyder's take on that, and maybe a Batman movie. Zack Snyder wouldn't be that bad.
Perhaps not.
He just no, I don't think he understands all of the characters, or if he does, he doesn't understand why fans liked them the way they did, and he relies too much on, I think, just making everyone feel sad about the movie, even though you've got no emotional connections to any of the characters.
And that's the reason why Marvel's better, because when they pick writers and directors, the writers and directors tend to be comic book fans. They know the stories, they love the stories.
Just look at the Russo brothers. I mean, they're massive comic book fans, and and Kevin Feige saw that when Joss Whedon didn't want to direct Avengers: Infinity War, he understood that the Russo brothers are probably the best ones after that. DC, you don't get that. I think DC just thought Zack Snyder can make whatever he wants to make, and we'll just let him do what he wants. But it's hard when you've got a comic book movie which so many people care about. It's hard to just do whatever you want to. And that's the thing, the third and final point is director driven. Now, Marvel, as I said to you, Marvel is producer driven. Kevin Feige oversees all of these movies.
Yeah.
And even though they've got different writers or directors, Kevin Feige just, makes them all look kind of, so you believe that they're all set in the same universe. DC have director driven, whereby Zack Snyder, David Ayer, all of these directors can just make movies they want. And the problem, as you've probably seen, is there's no consistent tone or style for the DCEU. You don't understand. I mean, if you watch Suicide Squad, you could say, does that take place in the DCEU, or is that just a standalone film? There's nothing to... there's nothing... Yeah, exactly. Have you got anything to say about that?
What can I say about DC? As Angry Joe once said, you done fucked it up. What can I say about DC? Well, DC, you have made a lot of mistakes. And don't get me started on DC formula, which they have not broken away from. Including from Aquaman. They did it in Aquaman as well. Man of Steel. Big thing comes to destroy city. Big fight going through buildings. Collapsing, living in a city. Batman vs Superman. Doomsday goes off on one, blows up an entire island and city. Suicide Squad, the big weird lady, I don't quite know what she was. Enchantress. She was like, oh fuck knows what she was. She was going to blow up the city.
DC villain 3.
Wonder Woman, big CG explosion fest at the end. Justice League, big explosion fest, which basically said the Justice League are absolutely useless. And Superman's the only villain Superman is the only superhero which can actually do something.
Even though everyone hated him in Batman vs Superman.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, they're all like, oh no, it's because Superman's gone. They hated him.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. There's no consistent... Fair enough. If you're going to say that everyone hates Superman because of what he did in Man of Steel, fair enough. But you got to keep to that. If Superman then dies, they're not going to all forgive him straight away. I mean...
No.
It just doesn't make sense. There's no consistent tone here.
They even did it with Aquaman as well. The final battle was a big, massive fight scene. Like, this isn't the climax to the Lord of the Rings. So what can DC do? They've pissed off a lot of the fans. They pissed off a lot of the actors. I mean, they don't even know who's going to be Batman next.
No.
Who's going to be the Flash? What's even happened to the Flash movie? They announced all these films coming out, and none of them has been made.
And I think that goes on to our next point, is what could save the DCU now? Now, I think this is a radical move, and probably the most unlikely option is rebooting the entire stuff. Now, it's very radical to reboot, an entire thing, because then you're basically saying that everything about the DCU is redundant.
Well, it pretty much is at the moment. They ain't got any security on directors or actors coming back, so...
Yeah, I'm just saying, it's very radical for a studio to decide that we need to change all of that. Now, I understand rebooting the entire franchise. They could bring out, a new Superman movie or a Batman movie, or even bring out something stupid like a Flash movie.
Yeah. They've been trying that for years.
And just see, I mean, you never know. If they've got this Flashpoint movie, maybe that's going to reboot everything. That seems like the most likely option of how you'd reboot it without, just scrapping all the continuity and ignoring the events of Justice League. Now, I think they're already doing that.
Yeah.
I think they're all kind of saying, yeah, let's just sweep that under the
Let's
carpet.
just ignore everything that DC have done wrong. So, pretty much all the films.
Yeah, maybe that leaves Man of Steel. Maybe.
We'll just go back to Man of Steel.
Yeah, just go back to that. Let's start from scratch. Let's just
Start from scratch.
And probably the thing is a clear structure.
Hmm.
Now, as Matthew said, when Marvel announced their Phase 3 or even their Phase 2, they did a massive announcement and they showed all the movies. And I think the only film in Phase 3 which they haven't actually gone through with is Inhumans. I think that's the only movie which they announced which actually didn't get made. DC announced so many movies. They've announced Flash movie. Apparently there's going to be a Cyborg movie supposed to be out next year.
Cyborg movie, yeah.
Green Lantern movie again. A Batgirl movie, a Lobo movie, Gotham City Sirens, Suicide Squad 2. There's just a Joker and Harley Quinn spin-off movie. There's so many films here.
And none of them are getting made.
No, because they haven't got a clear structure. They just think, oh shit, we're losing the fans. We're going to make a Batgirl movie.
A lot of shit now wants a movie, so let's turn it to a CW series.
They just don't seem to understand that you need a clear structure. You can't just... These are... And this sounds a bit stupid. These are comic books which loads of fans take very seriously. I mean, there's fandoms all over the place. They take these movies very seriously.
Oh, yes.
You can't mess around with it. You can't just think, oh, well, so Superman killed someone or so Batman killed someone. No one's going to care. But people do.
Yeah.
People really do care. And if you don't have that clear structure, I mean, they've had how many people have they had in charge of DC? They had Jeff Johns at one point. They now have another guy in charge. They've had so many different
No
people
one
in
knows
charge.
what they're doing. That's the problem.
And the thing is, some of these people who they've had in charge have actually made good stuff. I mean, Jeff Johns, he directed X-Men First Class, which you'd probably agree is one of the best X-Men movies. So I don't know if it's the talent in the production team. I feel like it's just Warner Bros. Not having a clue what to do.
The problem is with DC, we don't have a clue what they're doing, and nor do they.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
They need to probably start again with someone planning from the beginning what they're going to do.
Just kind of like Marvel. Marvel, since Avengers, it was Infinity War. That's what everything has been building up to. Just Infinity War, Infinity War. We don't know what... I used to think it was Darkseid that they were building up to. Now I don't know. They were apparently at one point going to do an Injustice movie, which seems really weird.
But when they first announced Justice League, it was going to be part 1 and 2.
Yeah, and then it turned into one movie, and now I don't even know if they're doing a sequel to Justice League.
No.
They don't seem to want to do anything. So probably the conclusion of this discussion is, I think the DCEU can be saved, but not the current DCEU. I think that one's kind of on its last legs. I think they need to have a serious rethink about what they actually want to do. I think they need to think about whether or not they just want to make a couple of decent superhero films before building the universe. Like we said, Marvel in Iron Man was not supposed to be the starting point of a cinematic universe. They just wanted to make a good movie.
Yeah.
And then once they saw they were making a good movie, they decided, okay, we could link this up, and 5 films later get an Avengers movie. DC decided,
let's go straight to that.
Marvel make loads of money. We could make money as well.
But the problem is with Justice League, with a $300 million budget, they didn't make much money on it.
Oh god. So thanks for watching, guys. I really do hope that you enjoyed this discussion. Please remember to like, comment, and just subscribe in order to get great content in the future. I hope you enjoyed this discussion. It's longer than I actually thought it would be. Hopefully you enjoy it. We might be doing some more discussions.
We definitely will.
Yep. Thank you, Matthew.
I've been Matthew Cholerton. You could probably check me out on my YouTube channel, but I don't really know what I'm doing with my life anymore. So I used to make tech videos, now I started to make some music video shit, then I don't know.
I would definitely,
all over the place.
I'd definitely check out Matthew's videos. Some of the video, he hasn't done quite a few in a while, but his old videos are actually really good. A lot of his tech videos are good. And what he's doing now, I'm pretty sure, is going to be good.
In some point in the future, we'll turn up a year later probably.
So anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you in another one. See ya.
Bye.